have an emergency.
Today on Rescue 911, a landmark rescue continues. U.S. doctors fly to Russia to save a boy with staggering burns.
This was one of the deepest burns we have ever seen.
En route, the rescue takes a turn for the worse.
The patient is no longer stable, his respiratory condition is deteriorated, and he cannot carry on to Galveston.
Then, a toddler's foot is stuck in the toilet.
Get your mommy, okay?
A frightened child screams for help on Rescue 911.
When an 8-year-old Russian child, Anton Avdyenka, was severely burned, he was taken to the main hospital in his hometown in Siberia. Though the local hospital did everything they could to help the boy, with each passing day, his condition was growing worse. After 6 days, Vladimir could no longer stand the forced separation from his son.
He noticed me and started crying a little bit and stretched his arm toward me. Papa, come to me. Why don't you come see me? I'm here by myself.
Почему ты не подходишь? Не бойся, я совсем не страшен.
I didn't pay any attention to the rules. And I went to him and kissed his hand. And asked him what he needs. What can I bring you? He asked for his favorite toy.
As their son's condition continued to deteriorate, Anton's parents were no longer willing to just wait and do nothing. They heard that some foreign exchange students and their American teacher were coming to Magadan. Vladimir went to meet them at the airport to ask for the Americans' help.
His name is Vladimir.
Я хотел просить вас помочь в беде. Мой сын...
I wanted to ask you for help.
У меня несчастье. У меня обгорел сын, лежит в больнице, умирает.
I asked you for help because my son got burned and now he's dying in the hospital.
Larry Rockhill долго не раздумывал.
Larry Rockhill didn't stop to think for very long. He told me there is a man in Alaska who can help.
Maybe you have an opportunity to contact some American doctors you know who could help.
One of the first people Larry called was the director of the Institute for Circumpolar Health Studies in Anchorage, Alaska, Dr. Ted Molla.
We wanted to make sure that we could really help him, because if you really think about the reality of it, no one had ever brought anyone out of the Soviet Union that I know of into the United States for treatment directly. What's going on?
While Dr. Molla tried to cut through the red tape to get official government permission, on her own, Betty Johnson worked day and night to find a burn center for Anton and the means to transport him.
I worried that I would not be able to get anything done for this child before he died, because third-degree burns are very significant, and I was very worried that he would not make it. I felt that there was a possibility of failure, but I was going to give it my best shot.
It took 3 days and hundreds of calls, but Betty managed to get the Shriners Burn Institute, the Rocky Mountain Helicopter Company, and the Providence Hospital Medevac team to provide Anton's care and transport for free. And Dr. Molla got both the U.S. and Soviet governments to grant full permission for the flight and even waive the visas. Marilyn Belanger was a flight nurse on the historic rescue attempt.
The type of trip that we were going to do was not going to be anything different from the daily work that we do. But the destination was the exciting point. I had never been to the Soviet Union, so there was some apprehension going into new territory.
When we continue.
He kissed this little boy goodbye. He didn't know when he would see his son again, and I couldn't reassure this dad that this little boy was going to be okay.
After a 5.5-hour flight, they arrived in the Soviet Union.
We did see an unusual sight when we landed. because usually there is a truck that says, "Follow me," but this time there was somebody on a bicycle with reflectors on and a flashlight, and basically this jet was following this guy on a bicycle to the place where we had to go and park. It was pretty amazing.
Little more than an hour after touchdown, the American medical crew arrived at Magadan Regional Hospital.
Our reality is that we want to go in very quickly, take the boy, and get out.
Ребенок находится в отделении.
When the group of doctors came with Ted Mala in charge, he explained that from Alaska, we would be sent to a hospital in Galveston. Well, for me, it was completely incomprehensible. I didn't know where Galveston is or what that is.
During the long drive to the airport, Anton's parents rode with him in the ambulance.
A nurse gave Anton a little bear. The bear was always with him. There's even a drop of Anton's blood on it. He loved it.
Only Anna would be able to go with their son to America.
Ну, момент прощания.
The moment we had to part,
Попросил, поцеловал его.
I kissed him.
Попросил.
I asked him to be brave.
Был мужественным.
You get where you're going.
Дойти до места.
Get better, then come back soon.
Ну, выздоравливай.
Выздоравливай.
He kissed this little boy goodbye. He didn't know when he would see his son again. And I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't reassure this dad that this little boy was going to be okay and he would come back well. And still today, that's one of the moments that will stay with me for a long, long time. Two hours into the flight, Anton's airway started to close off. His respiration slowed down and he had to struggle to breathe. My heart was in my boots. We knew that we could not put Anton through the remainder of the flight in the condition that he was. The patient is no longer stable, his respiratory condition is deteriorated, and he cannot carry on to Galveston.
An emergency stop was made in Anchorage, Alaska, so Anton could be admitted to Providence Hospital and stabilized. Later that day, he was transported to Galveston, Texas, where he was met by Surgeon Paul Waymack of the Shriners Burn Institute.
This was one of the deepest burns we have ever seen. Most of the burn patients we receive within 24 hours of their burn injury. In such patients, there has not been adequate time for bacteria to invade the burn wound and cause infections. But Anton had been in the Soviet Union for 2 weeks following the burn injury, and during this time his wounds had become extensively infected with bacteria. Approximately 33% of Anton's body was burned, but what made this burn unique was the fact that the burn went all the way down through skin and fatty tissue to muscle and bone. So we used cadaver skin to cover the wound.
It took 2.5 hours of surgery. Massive doses of antibiotics were also administered. Then the waiting began to see if he could overcome the infection.
He was lying there. He was all swollen and covered with medicine. And he looked at me and started to cry a little. And I comforted him and told him not to cry because you shouldn't get your face wet with tears. It might get worse. And then, of course, I went into the hallway and became hysterical.
Anton's condition began to improve. 5 days after his arrival, doctors replaced the cadaver skin with grafts from unburned parts of his own body.
Okay, we're going to save the best piece of skin for the face. I want the second best piece here for the hand. The depth of the burns was so great that in some areas we had to remove tissue all the way down to bone and tendon in order to find something that was alive and would accept the skin grafts. Hiccups, absence.
5 days later, occupational therapist Kathy Gross began the next stage of the boy's painful recovery process.
Anton, like any other kid, can get upset with us when he's experiencing pain and often gets angry.
Еще давай. 1, 2.
He's a very motivated child, and I'm sure that 5 years from now you'll look at him and you probably won't even be able to tell that he was burned.
The happiest moment, I think, was that I got back up on my feet and that I came out alive. I think that the doctors who treated me in Texas were the best of all. When they did the physical therapy, it hurt. But it doesn't hurt so much now.
Okay, come on.
After 3 weeks in America, 8-year-old Anton Avdyenko was well enough to return home to Russia to be reunited with his family.
It was a great joy to return home with a healthy, live child who walks on his own legs, who runs, who's happy. We're all together again. I'm very grateful to everyone who participated and for their involvement in our whole tragedy.
We were happy to be reunited, he and I. Maybe 10 times more than usual. I had such a feeling of relief that we were finally together again.
I want to thank all those people who helped me, all the people who gave me blood, and those who were able to give money with which I was able to fly to America. And I learned that matches are a bad joke. I don't think I'm going to be playing with fire again. Now I feel very well. I got much better when I returned back home.
Next.
Can I help you? Yes, we have a problem I need some help with.
The lady kind of hesitated. I felt like she was thinking, was I serious?
In the toilet.
Some situations are so out of the ordinary that we could never imagine finding ourselves in them. But on July 7th, 1992, Laura Cole discovered that when children are involved, almost anything can happen.
Christine is a little more active than the average 2-year-old that I've seen. Sometimes she can be a little mischievous, and she likes to joke around and have fun.
She is a pain sometimes if I tell her to go wipe up her mess that she made and she won't do it. And she says, you go do it, and she's kind of bossy to me.
There anyway, and I can... Hang on just a second. What you need, honey?
Potty.
Okay, sweetie, go back there, and I'll be right back there. We're in the middle of potty training, and she's doing pretty good. So I said, go ahead, go back there, and I'll be back there in a minute. Sounds like things are moving along ahead of schedule for you then. And I heard Christine start to cry. Melissa! Melissa, can you come check on Christine, please?
What's wrong?
Melissa McAvoy was the Cole family's babysitter.
Oh, it's just Christine. She's fussing back there.
Christina, what happened?
I walked in the bathroom, and Christine said, my foot's stuck.
It's okay.
I thought it was strange to find a girl in a toilet bowl.
Get your mommy, okay? Christina's foot is stuck in the toilet. What? Her foot is stuck in the toilet.
And I was thinking, this is strange. I mean, there's no way a foot can go in a toilet and not come back out. Oh my gosh, it's really stuck. It would not budge, not even a fraction of an inch. And I was afraid if I put any more pressure on her leg, it would have easily broken. I put half a bottle of dishwashing detergent down in that water, and it still wasn't budging. I didn't know if it was, you know, cutting circulation off in her leg. There was just no way to tell. It was so tight in there.
911, may I help you? Yes, we have a problem I need some help with. My 2-year-old daughter has got her entire leg stuck in the toilet, and I can't get it out. I'm afraid I'm going to break her leg if I try to move it. Stuck in the toilet? I know it sounds crazy, but...
The lady on the end of the line kind of hesitated, and I felt like she was thinking, was I serious?
Okay, we'll get rescue out there. Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
St. Lucie Fort Pierce County Fire Rescue units were immediately dispatched. Among them was 6-year veteran firefighter paramedic Andy McDonald.
This was not a routine call, so we knew it was bound to be interesting.
Which way is it in there?
Rescuers arrived at the bathroom within 6 minutes.
Okay, let's try a little more soap here. Okay, it's slippery, but her foot's just really wedged in there.
The rescue team was headed by Lieutenant Larry Barton.
This was a serious situation. A small kid like that is scared to death if she's tied up to something and can't get away from it.
Larry turned for help to the only toilet expert he knew, his fire captain, Bill Davis.
I've been in construction, and I understand how these things are put together. And so I said, well, go ahead and take the toilet on out, and we'll meet you down there in a few minutes.
She was screaming so loud because she saw all the strangers and stuff. You could probably hear her all the way down the block.
John Cole had been working in the neighborhood when he decided to stop by to check on his family. The last thing he expected was to find his daughter stuck in the toilet.
It's hard to sit back and know that your child is calling out for you and not be able to do anything.
I think it's probably tough on the parents. They want something to happen now. It's something, you could have gone there with a sledgehammer and broke the toilet open, but you wouldn't be professional.
John, ready? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Here we go. Don't drop it. Let's lock arms. Be real careful coming out. All right. Dad, get on her. We got you. On this way. We got you. Nice and easy. We got you. Watch your corner. Nice and easy. Watch your corner. Easy. Watch your leg. Watch your leg. I got the front door now.
I was worried because she's only 2, and that's the first big adventure she's ever had.
Nice and easy. Be careful. Take your time now. Nobody falls. Take your time. Okay, we got Take your time. We're all right.
You're carrying it out, you're going, now, once I get it outside, what am I going to do with it? You know, I'm out here with a toilet in the middle of a driveway. You know, what am I going to do with it?
We got here, Lieutenant.
When the chief paramedic showed up, being the authority on plumbing and what, he took a look at the situation and told us how they were going to have to approach the toilet and how they were going to enter it.
This toilet off.
I said, well, it looks like we're going to have to break the toilet apart. I told them to stuff some towels around her foot so that if the toilet comes apart, that it won't cut her.
Okay, here's some towels. Let's wrap these towels around her foot. So we can get it on out of there.
Go ahead and bring it.
I used the pick end of a pry axe to carefully chip the toilet.
Up it easy. Okay, there you go. Okay, all right, hold on a second. The first piece that we took off, we got into the neck part of the toilet, which we didn't see what we wanted to see. So I said, let's chip it again. So we chipped it farther back.
Easy.
It was pretty exciting seeing them break the toilet with the hatchet and stuff.
A little bit. There we go. Hairline cracks again.
There it goes.
All right.
There it is.
I got it. There she comes. All right, lift her up. There we go.
As soon as they freed her foot, she jumped right up into her dad's arms and was just, she stopped crying then, right away.
Just okay. Look here. Yeah.
One thing that can be learned from this is never stand up in the toilet. And never pull the handle down either when you do.
2-year-old Christine Cole suffered only a minor cut on her foot as a result of the incident and experienced no other setbacks in completing her potty training.
Wow, look what you made.
We laugh a little bit at it. You know, it's something that's changed the way we look at the bathroom, I think.
Oh boy, what a mess.
Children are always going to be getting into situations, and anything can happen. I never dreamed that she would have got her foot stuck in the toilet. They don't tell you about this in the potty training manuals.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.